Welcome to Catholic Education Matters, the podcast that celebrates the beauty of Catholic education. Join us as we share the stories of those making a lasting impact on Catholic education. Let's begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Catholic Education Matters. My name is Troy Van Vliet. I'm the chair of the St. John Paul II Academy Foundation, and today we are here with Darren Watt and José Vargas, two parents from St. John Paul II Academy, and we're happy to have you both here today. We're going to be giving a parent perspective on what's going on in our school. And José, you've been a part of it from day one. Well, day two, let's just say, because day one, your daughter started in grade 8 and there was a grade 9 class ahead of her. So, and I remember going back to when we first met, because that was at Sacred Heart in the gym. You might not remember this, but you came up to me. I was watching my daughter play your daughter in basketball. And that was at Sacred Heart. And you came up and you were saying, so what's St. John Paul II Academy all about? What is this? And because that was when our kids were in grade 7.
Yes. No, actually, I do remember.
You do remember it?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a long time ago now.
Yeah. At that time, we were trying to figure out what school was good for our daughter.
Yep.
And there were a few options, and one of the options was SJPII.
Right.
And because we knew Mr. Delorier, and he was such a great principal, we were very excited of the opportunity of having Sophia attend SJPII. And so we wanted to know more about the school.
That's right. That's great. So that was your first introduction.
Yes.
And Darren, you are the father of several. You've got 5 in your 6.
Five kids total. Yeah, 5 kids total.
Sorry.
3 at JPII. That's JP2.
And how were you guys introduced? You and Sam, you were in Tsawwassen. You weren't even living anywhere near the school.
Correct.
And how did you find out about the school?
Yeah, so we have been a homeschooling family up to that point, and had sort of always planned on homeschooling our kids at least to the high school years, but possibly even further than that.
Yep.
And as our oldest son, Ollie, as he likes to be called, as he got closer to the time where he was sort of thinking about high school, he started to express a desire to kind of be part of more of a bricks and mortar school, wanted a bit more sort of social interaction. So, to be frank, we weren't sort of super impressed with the public school options around us where we were, and we didn't love the idea of having our kids have to bus somewhere. So we started exploring options, and I can't remember whether, to be honest, it may have been through a pulpit talk that happened. We were we were members of the Sacred Heart Parish at the time as well. Or it might have even been through the homeschooling community. It's that we've belonged to that sort of made mention of it. So my first memory was coming to an open house at SJPII, and both my wife Samantha and I were just immediately impressed and and very, very curious and learning more. And so the more we started digging into it, it just became very clear that this was just completely what we were looking for.
Oh. That's great. So, and Ollie came.
And then we ultimately moved.
And then you moved, So Ollie came in grade 8, first of all, and you guys commuted together. You were carpooling.
Carpooled.
Yes.
And then grade 9, you moved from Tsawwassen out to.
We literally started the house hunting process from those early days. Once Ollie started in the school, even before when we knew that he was going to enter the school, we immediately sought out a realtor and started looking. And it took us 2 years to find the place that we wanted. But it was always that was the impetus for the family relocation.
That's a big commitment. Talking about commitments that we make for our kids and sacrifices that we make for our kids, you guys actually picked up and moved to be closer to the school. So.
And couldn't be happier. The family, we all are 100% agreed it was like the right thing to do, and it was.
That's exciting.
Yep, divine providence.
And you've both been part of the school in many ways. You're not just a parent in the school. You, Darren, you're now the vice chair of the society board, which is actually in charge of education in the school. And you're also chairing the golf tournament, which we'll talk about a little bit. Those golf clubs are there for a reason. And Jose, you've been on the society board as secretary for how many years now?
I think it's like 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, since I've been.
And thank you for your service. And also, you were involved with the golf tournament the golf tournament as well.
Yes.
Which has been a great fundraiser for us for the bursary program, which we'll talk more about that. So, thank you, both of you for all of your commitments from day one. Now, Jose, I really got to say thank you to you because your daughter graduated last year, and you're still here, part of the school. You just can't let it go.
No, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a great community,
Yes.
isn't it?
It is a great community, and also the fact that you can really see where we're going, like the vision and mission that we are building for this school is great. And in these troubled times, we need good news like this school.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
is so much need in the Lower Mainland for Catholic education.
Yep.
And a high school like the one that we're building right now is going to be a great response to that need of the community, not just our Catholic community, but the community in general. And I think that the community in Surrey and the south of the Fraser River,
Yep.
The need is there, and we're going to be there to meet that need.
Yeah, that's great. And now your daughter is a success. Now your daughter is the youngest, so
Yes.
you have. How many?
I have an older son.
Yeah.
He just graduated from university, and my daughter, she's attending Dalhousie. And I have to mention another thing too,
Mhm.
which is one of the big reasons why I'm so excited about this school. He actually managed to get accepted into all of the universities she applied to, and on top of that, she got a scholarship. So right now
Wow.
she's at Dalhousie,
Mm-hmm.
and she's enjoying the benefits of a scholarship.
That's great.
So
And what is she taking at Dalhousie? What does she
So-
want to do?
she's doing sciences, and but her goal is to get into dental school.
All right.
And so she's doing great. And actually, I have to say that Mr. Wilkie, our chemistry teacher, I told him that she has asked me to tell him that she is really grateful to him and the other teachers, but mainly to him, because can you believe that she had a grade of 98 in chemistry for her first term?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That is fantastic. So she went in there well prepared.
Yes.
So that's a great testament to,
Yes.
to Mr. Wilkie.
Yeah.
So we got some great teachers at St. John Paul
We
II
do.
Academy.
Yes.
That is great news. Fantastic. And we are so happy to have you, that you're sticking around, that because you've been a great help and a huge contributor, both you and Brigitte, with the school, because we have asked so much of our parents, because we're such a tiny school right now. We have 72 kids currently in the school. So our parents have been there to step up, to pick up all the tying all the loose ends right now, because there's so much to do. There's so much volunteer work to do. And we're trying to do all the things that the big schools do, except with this really small group. And we've managed to accomplish a lot of that. The golf tournament, one of the big things, and then of course also the Royals Ball that we're doing, both of those in the name of our bursary program. And the last two events that we did, we raised almost $250,000 just for our bursaries to help other families that that might not be able to afford to pay. So we don't want to turn anybody away for financial reasons if they want a Catholic education for their kids. So we're really, really proud of that. So, and it's great thanks to people like you that have stepped up and helped fill that in.
Well, the flip side of that, though, is that, I know for us, another big factor for why we chose JP2 and made the move around was the search for community, right? And so while, yes, the school is very dependent on that contribution from the families. It gives back as well, because the community that we found by being part of the school has just been second to none. I mean, it's been unbelievable. So the families that make up this school and have made it up over the past 5 years that we've been there, it's just,
and that's
family.
And that's what it's supposed to do. That's what I've talked about that with Father Augustine. He was on a earlier podcast, and talked to him about how Catholic schools are supposed to help build the church, and building the church is building a community. So, and our high school, because believe it or not, early on we had a lot of pushback from people that I didn't think we would get pushback from when we say, hey, we want to start a high school, because it is a big financial commitment, massive financial commitment. And, parishes are always trying to raise funds as well for their own needs. But one of the ways it's one thing to raise our kids Catholic, but to keep them Catholic is to embed them in that Catholic education through elementary school and through high school. The more that they're involved in our parishes, and the more that community is built into schools, that helps build our parishes as well. Because quite often our kids, even after high school, they can fall away from the faith, and it might not be their number one priority. They're trying to find their way in life today. There's so many things to work on with careers and what have you. But we hope that we've instilled this foundation in them so that once they leave high school and they're off going out into the real world and Dalhousie on the other side of the country, right? Hopefully we've instilled that faith and given that grounding, so that when they come back, they're helping to build the church, or wherever they are in the community, that they're helping to build that church too. When they one day, if they get married and have their own kids, that of course what they want to do is become part of that same community.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So we have this golf tournament coming up in May. It's our second annual alumni golf tournament, and the first one was I think was a huge success.
A smashing success.
Yes. It was great. It was well attended. We sold out, and I think we had 130 golfers, something like that. Jose, was it roughly in there? 140. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of cars that we had for hole-in-one prizes. We had great grab bags and what have you that all the golfers got. We had a super dinner afterwards, and with an auction. Yeah. So where do you attest the success? What do you attest all that success of that golf tournament to?
I think it was the sense of community, like everybody that was involved in the organization of this golf tournament reached out to friends, family, and I think somehow they saw that it would be a good event, like a fun event, but at the same time they would be doing good for this community as well.
Yeah.
So I think that combination was what enabled the success of the golf tournament.
Yep.
And everybody that attended the golf tournament, like I was involved in the registration all the way to, I played golf that day as well. Everybody was so happy, like you could sense the energy during that day, and it was just unbelievable. The energy and the optimism, and everybody was looking forward to something good.
Yeah. People love golfing with people that they like and that they're friendly with and have a connection with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's different than just showing up at some, tournament where you don't really know anyone and you're all there for different reasons.
Yeah.
That's really special.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the feedback that I got from the people that we invited to the golf, because we had, once again, we got a very small community. I think with 72 kids, and that's a small community to begin with. So we had to reach out. We're reaching out to the parishioners at Star of the Sea and the respective churches that people belong to. Also to the contractors and subcontractors that are building the school, the new campus. So for sponsorships, things like that, we reached out. So there was really quite a diverse group that came. And I think one of the best parts was that the feedback at the end was, especially our sponsors. Yeah, no, this is one of the best tournaments we've been to. and we'll be back next year if you guys do it again next year. I mean, what a compliment.
Yeah.
And this is after they just spent a bunch of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and this is the funny thing that when we started this golf tournament, organizing it, we didn't have a clue of how to organize a golf tournament. Like none of us had done that before. But we were very lucky that David Fanning, our chair last year, he had organized a few golf tournaments, so he really knew what to do. So we were really blessed to have him because he really set the tone for what exactly we needed to do, and he was so organized, and we were successful mostly because of people like him that gave us, all his time and the effort to make it happen.
Yeah, David Fanning was a huge part of it. Like we, rather than reinvent the wheel, many of us have been to golf tournaments in the past. It's great to find one and just kind of emulate exactly, what was done.
You've set a roadmap now that can be used.
So this year should be a lot easier than it was last year because now we kind of know the venue really well. We know how it's going to roll out. We chose May to do it to try and rather than September, because September is the end of the golf season or towards the end of the golf season, and a lot of people are golf tournament out. They've been to 5 of them already that year. So we chose, it's like, okay, the golf season is starting in BC. It kind of goes all year round, but the tournaments sort of start in that time of the year. So we thought, let's do it in May. And people will be excited to say, let's get out there and get to the golf tournament. And so, Darren, you're a big golfer.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I'm a great golfer, but I love the sport. Yeah.
And your team did well.
Yeah. So I was blessed. My two oldest sons are avid golfers as well, and they usually are my most frequent playing partners. So we get out and play a lot, including some of Oliver's friends. So so when the tournament came up last year, we put up a foursome, me and 3 of the students from the school. I brought in my ringers.
You brought in
the ringers to help me out. But yeah, we had a great time. And so when the opportunity came up to serve as chair for this one, just wanted to help. It sort of combines 2 things that I'm passionate about: playing golf with my kids.
Yeah, it's easy because it's a passion.
Yeah.
That's great. And at the tournament, I talked briefly about the dinner, and then the auction. We had a live auction and an online auction that was going as well. And we had some lead sponsors that chipped in, and like I said, we'd raised about $150,000 at the golf tournament for the first golf tournament. Incredible. And we've got a fantastic, topic that pulls at a lot of people's heartstrings. Not everybody can afford the tuition at our school. We've got a brand new school that we're building that we got to pay for, and it does cost a lot of money because the money that we get from the government is only partial tuition. That's it for operating. So we have to pay for the entire school. There's zero government funding for that. And then we have to top up the other half of the tuition, the other half of what it costs to actually get our kids educated. So the tuition is a real thing. It's not a for-profit thing. And we have lots of things to pay for. But we don't want to exclude families. We don't want families to say, no, I can't go to that school because, so therefore we have to have a robust bursary program to help top that up. I'm going to ask you, how important do you both think that is, that especially as a Catholic school, that we're open to all families to come, whether they can afford it or not? How important do you think that is?
Well, I can start. I mean, I think it's absolutely critical. And as we're trying to build and grow this family, this community that we've already started. I mean, we're going to go from, less than 100 students up to 800 and more. So, being able to make sure that we're allowing for as many Catholic families that want to join, that community and join that family. I mean, we have to pave the way in any way we can. And it's part of the critical building blocks of maintaining the culture and delivering on the vision that you and you've had from day one in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mich Delore, our founding principal, that was his, one of the first things he said, that this isn't an elitist school, you know, and we don't want to turn anybody away for financial reasons. So it's like, okay, note to self, we got to raise some money for bursaries right out of the gate. So Jose, you think it's important?
Yeah, so I think we have been able to send our children to the school, and we have to make sure that we share those blessings with the entire community.
Yeah.
So I think that's why that's my big motivation for the golf tournament and the other fundraising events, because if we can make sure that we have the ways of supporting families that want to send their kids to our school, then we can make it happen, and they will have the benefits of Catholic education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how important do you think faith-based education is? Like, I mean, you know, we could go to school, there's the public system, there's the private system as well, there's private faith-based, there's private non-faith-based. Currently in the Lower Mainland, I think we have over 50 Catholic elementary and high schools combined. How important do you think that is for, you know, our kids to get educated in that and preparing them for the real world, so to speak?
I think in this world, and right now the way we are, it is very important to have a Catholic education, to have our children go to a Catholic school, because we're seeing so many threats of so many kinds, and we want to make sure that our children get values, get the sense of Catholic community, and live. You know, the center of our lives should be Jesus, and the only way that you can really get that is if you have that in your family. If you're a family that goes to church every Sunday and all of that, but you also complement that with the school. If you have those two environments, then you are instilling that into your children, and then they are going to have the tools and the values and everything that they need to live their lives in a Catholic way. You know,
For sure.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it's true of any stage of education, but I think that the high school years are of most critical importance. I mean, these are the years where our kids are figuring out who they are, you know, who they are as people, who they're called to be, you know, where do they fit in, right? And I think a faith-based education, a Catholic education, gives them that grounding rod, you know, and sense of understanding of who they are and who they're meant to be, and that then, you know, empowers them to start grappling with all of these big questions and, you know, bigger questions that they're going to face in the rest of their life, right? I mean, I think in the absence of that, you know, it's a tough world out there these days. I mean, the absence of that as your guiding rudder, what's it going to be? I mean, TikTok videos and Messenger shorts. I mean, this is what's forming our kids' sense of self and who they are and what they need to be. I mean, that's a rough world to navigate. So
that it is.
I also think that the legacy that we as parents can give to our children is education, like material things, like, you know, inheriting a house or something. Yeah, sure, that's great, but the key thing is education and the values, so that they can have that in their lives and make use of those values to make decisions during their lives.
Yeah. You'll give a man a fish or teach him to fish, right? If you can give education, you know, we're used to having to pay for education for university, college, what have you, or technology school. You know, we're used to paying for that, and people think, well, and they'll save for that, and it's the most important thing that they can do. Right. What about those years, those formative years prior to that? You know, where you're forming that whole person, which we talk about that in our school all the time.
Yeah.
Like, those are massively important.
Agree. I mean, the university level is more about like the what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Those high school years, I think, are more about like the why you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know,
what kind of person I'm going to be, you know, not defined by, you know, I'm a nurse or I'm a lawyer.
That's right.
Or I'm a doctor, or I'm an engineer, you know, that's not who you are. You know, there's the whole person that goes in there. I'll throw this out there. Silveria Roselli has talked about people putting their pronouns and stuff like that on there. And she said, well, my pronouns are Catholic. And I love it. I thought, well, yeah, that's a good one. If we're going to start throwing pronouns around, let's put that one out there. But Jose, you both of you mentioned this. It's a tough world out there, or especially with what's going on in today's society. Specifically, why don't we go there? Let's scratch below the surface a little bit. What's going on in today's society that really we need to worry about? What are the things that our kids are facing today that, say, we didn't have to face when we were in high school or elementary school? What are some of those things? What do you think they might be?
I think it's this gender ideas, and there is a lot of misconceptions about everything that has to do with the human being. And they need to really understand, our kids need to understand the reality of what God's plan was. And I think that's what is missing from all of these other theories or things that they're trying to impose on us. Like, unfortunately, our education system is trying to impose some things that not everybody agrees with. So we need to make sure that we have a way of teaching our children God's plan.
What do you think, Darren?
Yeah, I think where I'm going, where my mind goes with it is, like, I think in today's world, the prevalence and the impact of social media, that it's just all our kids are being, not just kids, us adults, as adults, we're being bombarded with it constantly. So I think if you're, when you're on the cusp of becoming an adult, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and you're being bombarded with these sort of external comparators of, like, what, do I associate with being like that? Do I want to be seen like this? Do I want to look like that? If you're going through that without sort of an ability or a guide to kind of look within and see who you really are, I mean, I can understand that being incredibly confusing and upsetting. And I think that plays a lot into people kind of searching and thinking, well, like, I don't know who I am. Maybe I'm not this. Maybe I'm more suited with that. I think it all stems from that same place, right? But if you can know thyself from within, going through that, it gives you a bit of a basis or rudder to sort of steer through all of that, those confusing messaging, all the confusing messaging that's out there.
Yeah, in today's world, when we were growing up, our parents kind of just had to vet the other kids that we were hanging around with, or that we were playing with, or whatever, and their families, before it's like, well, where are you going today? Who are you playing with? It's like, oh, I'm going to John's house. And okay, well, John is, they're a cool family. I don't have anything to worry about over there. Now, I got these little devices that everybody walks around with, and we're cyborgs because, the information that comes from, there's a ton of great information on here. If you want to look up good information that's going to influence you in a positive way, you've got these tools here that are incredible. But unfortunately, all the negative stuff comes through here, and these hedonistic world and views of accumulation and always wanting more, and then comparing ourselves to, well, that family does this family does that, or they have this, and these ones go on these trips all the time, and this constant comparing, and this is what I should be. Like, wow, that's a tough thing.
It's a lot of pressure.
Without that foundation, without that constant reassurance. That's why I'm glad that these are out of our schools right now. During school hours, the kids aren't using them.
Yeah.
And it is constant,
Yes.
And now you can put a message out to all of your friends instantly, and everybody sees it, whereas the old days, you had the awkward moments where you had to go and meet them over by the lockers and have a chit chat, or if you wanted to date somebody, you'd have to have a conversation rather than be sending texts or whatever. So it's complicated,
and it's 24/7, right? It's not just during the waking hours or the school hours. It's constant. Like anxiety levels amongst, I think, all people, but teenagers in particular are just off the charts.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us as parents also that because obviously we have our in our homes we talk about these issues, but also if they get the opposite message at school, then it's like, okay, so there is a duality there. So what do I believe? So in this way that if they go to a Catholic school, they will get a more consistent message, and they will have the way of being able to discern about these decisions that they may have to take in life regarding their own being. Because we have to respect everybody, and everybody's different, but freedom comes with also with respect. And so that's important for them to understand, and the only way is to have that framework in school and at home.
So are kids being taught by teachers that are also strong in their faith is important. For our kids being taught their faith throughout all aspects of education, not just in religion class, but how to interact with our fellow students and our fellow teachers, how we can draw certain, or let's say all subjects into our faith as well, even subjects as science, there's faith aspects to it as well. And today we argue that science proves there is God. Science, proves that. And then, well, how does that actually work? And our teachers can actually teach that and show that. Just a couple more questions that I wanted to ask you both. This is an interesting one. First of all, can you share a memorable experience that you've had in the past with SJPII, something that stands out over the last years? Like, what's one of your favorite memories that you've had?
Well, one of the favorite memories that I have is the volleyball tournaments that our children do. We are a small school, so we were kind of intimidated by bigger teams that they had like 20 players, and we had just like 10. And despite of all that, our kids were able to win championships.
Yeah. They came fourth in the province in the last year our girls played.
Yes. So
there's 8 girls.
Yes.
Jose, not 10, 8 on the team.
Yes, that's right.
Girls on the team.
So that to me speaks volumes of the motivation that our children have. And one funny aspect of that is I believe that because my wife gave my daughter spray with holy water before the games, she was spraying the holy water. And I think that helped.
I think it did. That's awesome. We had that little secret going on in the background there. God was on our side.
Yeah.
That's right. Darren?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I have many, but I think probably the one that most comes to mind is a fairly recent one. So as our oldest son kicked off their final grade 12 year, it's a small class. There's only 9 of them in that group. And so they know each other so well. And so we reached out to the other families and said, look, we'd really love to host you all over to our house for like a weekend kind of kickoff barbecue. And, we're looking around the room at just the family that we formed, this extended family that we formed over the past 5 years. And everybody just expressing that like they can't believe it's kind of coming to an end for that group.
Yeah.
But it was very, very clear that those relationships and those bonds are not going anywhere, right? And that we're all going to continue to see each other. A lot of them, have younger children that are still coming up through the school. But to me, it just spoke volumes. I mean, this was the community that we moved for, and just could have been so deeply rewarded with.
It's just awesome. I know the graduating class last year for our daughters was the same. It was absolutely spectacular. I kept telling my daughter, like, you realize that you guys have something incredibly special going on here that,
Absolutely.
Had you gone to virtually any other school, you wouldn't have this.
No.
Which is huge. And then lastly, what do you have any aspirations for the school going forward? Like, what do you envision, or do you have any hopes for the school? What might that be?
For me, I mean, I want it to be a beacon for all that's possible, right? To like aspire to greatness and look at you can do it. Like
Yeah.
the school will be a testament to that. You know, if you believe it, you can build it, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can do that while still preserving this incredible culture that we've built so far, I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, like similarly, I think if we can keep the same sense of community, even though we're going to be a bigger school, because
Yeah.
we can accommodate up to 850
Yeah.
students, if we can keep the same spirit of our community, I think this school will be just like a beacon, as you said, of good things for the entire Lower Mainland
Yeah.
and the Catholic community.
It just shows us something what can be done.
Yes.
You know, it speaks to a testament of that.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, one of our challenges is keeping that culture going forward. When we go from, you know, less than 100 to plus 200 to 400 to 800 students is going to be tough to keep the culture the same as it is. It'll always be evolving, but that core, you know, we really hope to keep that. You know, and with the name of our school, St. John Paul II Academy, and with him as a saint helping us, guiding us along the way. I think we should be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, it has been and it will continue to be a
It
very
has.
special place.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So lastly, once again, the golf tournament. We've got that coming up. That's going to be our next big school event, and that's on May 15th. That will be up on our website, so that if you do want to be a sponsor, or if you do want to be a golfer, or if you just want to come to the dinner, you can do that as well. That's going to be coming up real quick. So time flies. Thank you to the sponsors. Some of the big sponsors that we had last year, DGS, LMS, Bank of Montreal, Double V Construction, King LASIK, they were a big sponsor as well. Rick's Heart Foundation, he stepped up as well. Rick did an incredible job for us there as well. And Audio Space, there's many other companies that pitched in and donated, and it made it to what it is. So we have those ad campaign opportunities right now too for sponsors. Hope to do that. Any other last words about the golf tournament?
No, look, I mean, we sold out last year,
Yep.
and the spots this year will go lightning fast. So if you haven't booked your foursome, get on it, and it's going to be a great event. Look forward to seeing everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, everybody can go onto the website and buy the tickets right there. And the same thing for sponsorships. They can reach out by email. We have an email there for sponsors.
Yep.
So if a company or a person wants to sponsor our golf tournament, we are still receiving sponsorship.
Yes. Yeah, we won't disappoint at all. You know, lots of food. Everybody left well fed. Right from when you arrive, before you go out, we feed you. Sally Limon, the restaurant. I mean, their parents at the school as well, so they provided all the food. They sponsored the lunch pre-golf, and then there was snacks out there on the course. And then when you got back, then there was a dinner provided as well, cocktail reception, and then a dinner.
Top notch.
With the auction. It was done fantastic, and that's being held at the golf course.
Yeah, Tawasin Springs.
Tawasin Springs.
It's a wonderful venue for not only is the golf course beautiful, but also the service, the food, everything is so well organized that I think that's one of the key of our success as well.
Driest microclimate in the Lower Mainland.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's going to be sunny.
It is.
It's going to be sunny. most
Chances
likely.
are it'll be dry.
Always sunny in Tawasin.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, Darren and Jose, thank you both for joining us today for Catholic Education Matters.
Thanks for having us here.
Thank
Appreciate it. And of course, for all that you do and all that your families do and your contributions in the past and going forward, it's all so appreciated. This has been a parent-led initiative from day one, and you two are fine examples of that, because without our parents leading the charge, and the school would have never happened. So it's a massive thing that people are going to be able to be grateful for, well, let's say the next 100 years. All right.
Happy to help.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And be sure to like and subscribe if you would. And pass these podcasts around to your friends, family. Make sure you share them. That'd be much appreciated. And make sure you look up for the next one. Thank you for listening to Catholic Education Matters. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast on your favorite listening platform, rate it, and also leave a review. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and family to help spread the word about the impact of Catholic education. Be sure to listen again.